welcome back to our channel. My name is Amber and I'm currently almost 13 weeks pregnant, and today's video is going to be another pregnancy update on weeks 8 through 12. But before we get started, make sure you click that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and give this video a thumbs up so that you don't miss any of our future content, because we've got some good stuff coming up within the next month, including the gender reveal that's going to be happening towards the end of November, and you know you don't want to miss that video. So make sure you subscribe so that you get notified when all of our new videos come out. So without further ado, let's get into the video and talk about some of the symptoms I've been having over the past month. Starting with week 8. This week was, I remember being extremely tired, so much fatigue. Baby must have been having a growth spurt or something that week, because I really needed all the naps that I could get, and morning sickness was also still around. And morning sickness for me isn't just nausea, unfortunately. I actually end up getting sick. But like I've said, it wasn't nearly as bad as I had with my first pregnancy, so I don't want to sound like I'm complaining a whole lot, because I know that other people have it worse than I did, but it was definitely still a symptom that was hanging around for me for week 8. And I was also having a lot of frequent urination. I felt like I had to go to the bathroom every 10-15 minutes, especially at night. It's made it hard to get sleep, and just having to get up and go to the bathroom all the time is not fun. Another symptom for that week was a lot of shortness of breath. Still having that one, as you can see, but like walking, trying to talk on the phone, anything like that, just getting out of breath really super easy. My favorite thing that happened this week was when we took our pregnancy announcement pictures. My friend Shayna with Terra Nova Photography did that for us. I'll leave her information linked in the description box below if you're in the Richmond area and you need any pictures done. She's amazing. She's literally the nicest person. I went to high school with her. The prices are absolutely reasonable, especially for all the attention and time that she gives you, and props. She's fantastic. So I have a little clip that I'll put in right here of us taking those pictures. So that brings us to week 9. Kind of a lot of the same symptoms. Still very tired with fatigue, still morning sickness. I actually wrote down that this week was probably the peak of morning sickness for me. I was not wanting to eat, even though that's one of the things that helps morning sickness, is if you don't let your stomach get too empty. I couldn't make myself eat that week. I felt so sick. I didn't want any food, and it was making it even more difficult to control the morning sickness. But there was something fun that happened that week, and this was the week that we told our family that we were pregnant, and I'll link that video in the suggestion up above if you haven't seen that video yet. It's a fun one. And then that brings us to week 10. This week I wrote down still fatigue, morning sickness still present, another one of the tough weeks for me. And then the worst symptom that I started having at week 10 was headaches. I don't know what it was. It wasn't my blood pressure. My blood pressure was fine. I was drinking plenty of water, making sure that I stayed on top of it. I think it just had to do with the hormones, because a lot of the people that I talked to said that around this time they started having really bad headaches. And I remember just my head pounding for what felt like all day and it not going away. One of the positives this week, or that week, and one of my favorite things was that was the first week that Paul and I heard the baby's heartbeat for the first time. I bought a fetal Doppler off some website online, and it was like 50 bucks, and I was like, I'll just order it. And I'd been trying to find the baby's heartbeat ever since like 7 weeks, which I knew was super early. But 10 weeks was finally the day that I was able to find it, and it was like the strongest, cutest, fast little heartbeat that I'd ever heard. And I remember calling Paul in and being like, come in here, you gotta listen to this. And his face just lit up and smiled as soon as he heard it. It's the most beautiful sound when you get to hear your baby's heartbeat for the first time. And then that brings us to week 11, still having headaches, still sticking around, the fatigue still sticking around. I did write down that this week, the morning sickness finally started fading. You know, 11 weeks, you're kind of on the downhill of the first trimester, so the baby's placenta, I believe it is, starts taking over more of the work instead of your body having to do all that with all the hormones. So it was just a lot easier, I think, on my body having to manage those symptoms. And my new symptom for that week, I started feeling fairly strong round ligament pain, and those are just the ligaments that attach to your uterus. So, and it's from them growing. So anytime I would sneeze or cough, I get this Charlie horse-like pain down in my abdomen, and it's just from the uterus growing and my baby growing. And this week, week 11, it sounds crazy, but I swear I can feel them moving around already. I think it's because I'm more of a small person, and this is my second pregnancy. I can't feel like kicks or hits, but it feels like they're spinning around in there or just like bouncing up and down. And that's my favorite thing. I'll be having a hard day or just kind of stressed out, and then I'll feel this little flip in my belly, and it's so reassuring to get to feel those movements. And it's just them in there being like, hey mom, I'm okay, don't worry about me. And it's always nice to have those feelings. And that brings us to the last week. This week that I'm currently almost done with now, week 12. This week I've had fatigue, still not sleeping good, still peeing all the time. Very minor morning sickness. It's transitioned more now into me being able to feel hungry again instead of sick. Towards the beginning of my pregnancy, I would just feel sick instead of being able to feel hungry, and now I'm just starting to feel like increased appetite again. So I'm trying to make sure that the snacks that I have around me aren't Oreos and fresh baked cookies, because I will eat the whole pan. Just trying to make sure that it's like salad or peanuts or something that won't make me gain about 100 pounds. I also wrote this week, you can probably tell, I'm starting to feel more like myself again, especially as far as the emotions go with everything that's been happening the past couple of weeks. Like I said, I think it's because I'm getting out of the first trimester. It doesn't mean that I still don't have bad days, but it's easier to cope with, easier to kind of try and be my normal self, my normal personality, which is fairly chill and happy, instead of seeming like a depressed mess all the time, which has been refreshing to finally feel like myself again. And my favorite thing that we did this week was we had another ultrasound appointment, and we finally got to get some good pictures of the baby. We had the first ultrasound around 6 weeks, but they did an abdominal ultrasound at that appointment for some reason, and so the baby literally just looked like a dot. Like, you couldn't see any details or anything. But I'm gonna try to show you some of the ultrasound pictures. The baby's head, and their little body and legs, and I think they're so cute. Their little head and nose. And then there's also like a little 3D one. I'm trying to get it to focus. Don't look at me, look at the picture. And you can see that they have their little hands up in front of their face. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Like, I stare at these at least a good hour or so a day, just trying to stare at their cute little face, because it's nice to finally be able to have a picture with them. It makes it feel more real, and it's easier to bond. You know, it's easier for me to separate Austin from this baby, because when Austin passed, he was still a baby. So it's easier for me to separate and be able to focus more and just bond with this one instead of kind of keeping them associated together as babies, if that makes sense. But that brings us to the end, almost just about, of the first trimester. Some people say it ends at 12 weeks, some people say it ends at 13 weeks. I'm not really showing yet, which doesn't surprise me. I didn't really with Austin at all until more of my 4th month. But I am gonna try to get a bump shot today just so you can see my stomach. If you do see any roundness there, it's not the baby. It's just me eating too many cookies and getting my winter body, you know, ready to go. But I do wanna have like a little timeline of how it looks in progression. And so yeah, I'm gonna try to get a bump shot for you guys. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see well or not. I've got like a cami on underneath. Still relatively flat. I mean, I am going back and forth between maternity pants and regular jeans, kind of just whatever's clean and comfortable. Still fairly flat, nothing really to see, but I expect that'll change between now and the next pregnancy update. And so yeah, that brings us to the end of this pregnancy update. But thank you guys so much for those of you that have subscribed to our channel. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.